Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Tears of Forrester, and I have with me the lovely Lezette Markham. Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Okay.
Rock on. You totally got
Okay. For a
it.
second, I was like, shoot, I forgot what she told me.
No, it's a tough one. You got it.
Anyway, I have with me the lovely Lezette, and I'm so excited to have her share her story and to tell more about what she does. And so, Lezette, take it away. Tell us your story, where you started, and how you got to where you are now.
Sure. Well, again, my name is Lezette, and you totally said it right. And I am the founder of Simply Art LLC, and then I'm also the co-founder of An Artful Breath. But that is not where I started. I actually started as a graphic designer. That's my degree by trade. And I'm muting my phone. I apologize for that.
That's all right.
And after I graduated with my bachelor's degree, like most good students, I went straight into the corporate world and started putting my degree to use. So that's how I started. And like most creatives, there's a time when you experience a burnout, especially if you are under the constraints of what we call corporate. And at one point, I was living probably maybe like an hour or two away from the beach. I'm originally from Southern California, although I'm coming to you right now from Charlotte, North Carolina. And my husband worked at the beach. So me working 2 hours away from the beach, and we were living inland and wanting to be by his job and of course by the ocean, which is my soulmate, I decided to walk into my boss's office and say, you know what? Not only would it be cheaper for you to have me as a contractor versus an employee, but I would do a much better job. Plus I have way better equipment than you. So why not make me a contractor? So that's actually how my journey started into working remotely. It's when I walked into my boss's office and said, hey, hire me as a contractor. So that's been over 8 years now since, I think I'm over 8 years now that I've been working remotely, working for myself as is. And I haven't looked back. So that's where I came from. And it hasn't been an easy journey, but now I have an amazing company and I work with amazing people and I do incredible collaborations. And in just this recent year, I'm working towards not just working remotely, but getting my husband on board with me so that we could be like completely location free. So that's where I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So through your journey, and there are multiple times where this happens, or that it's every day almost. Tell me a time that you lost that vision, a really hard time in your journey, and how you kind of got back to that place of like, okay, I'm enough and I can do this.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's been lots of pitfalls along the way, but I think one of the more recent and profound ones was just a couple of years ago. I along with my family, my husband, I now have an actual family. I have to get used to saying that. I have a 7-month-old son. His name is Kai Bodie. Love him so much. But before Kai Bodie was just me and my husband. So my husband and I, a couple of years ago, had this huge urge to get ourselves out of debt. And our debt happens to be massive school loans, right? Mm-hmm. Both of us collectively having degrees, we accumulated quite a bit of school loan debt. So we wanted to get out of debt, and I found myself reverting back to what was safe and comfortable, and that was corporate, right? So there was a time where I was like, okay, the people that I love working with totally can't pay me, so I have to go back to the clients that can. So I didn't completely lose my way and go back to an office environment, but I did lose my way because I went from working with people that I really was meant to serve in this lifetime, and I went back to serving those that just did not vibe well with me. So because I thought that it would be safe. Mm-hmm. It turned out safe and comfortable was not happy or fulfilling at all. And the money that I thought was going to be like rolling in turned into like a nightmare, because that what I thought was going to be abundance just turned into just challenges, like challenges with my health. I was getting sick challenges with my mental stability. There was a great deal of anxiety, to the point where I was even having panic attacks. And so it took a lot of reflection and a lot of self-awareness to look around at my life, look around at my relationships, and really decide, okay, this isn't working. So when I realized that I had hit that pitfall and then sort of like settled in, grounded myself, and looked around, I, of course, with lots of integrity, got rid of those clients. I found them other resources, of course. I'm all about good relationships. So once I was able to get rid of the clients that just I didn't serve well, and they certainly didn't serve me well, I started to again work with people that I was meant to serve. And so that's how I got back on track, was really knowing who I wanted to work with and doing it, like actually putting in the work and working with those that I was meant to serve.
Yeah. And that's a huge risk, like there is a sense of security in that, like these people are paying me and,
Mm-hmm.
and I am, doing, what I want to do, but they're emotionally draining my well-being.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's that place of like, should I leave? Is it worth it? But I think it always is. But I think it's
Yep.
that place of like, oh my gosh, this is safe, but it's really not. It's not safe in a way that we think it is, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's quiet trouble is what it
Yeah.
is. Because it feels safe, but really you're like the water in the pot is slowly boiling.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. You're internally boiling up and it'll all explode one day and it won't come out pretty.
Right. And it's going to come out in lots of different ways. For me, it was my health. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I get really angry at my dog. He just turns into a bad dog. And I always feel bad because I'm, yell at him.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why did I yell at my dog? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's common too. That's relationships. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know you work with a lot of clients and stuff. And so can you tell me a little bit more about kind of what you do with them and kind of what journey you take people on?
Sure. Well, I'm first and foremost an artist myself. So a lot of my business, I have hats, right? Like most creatives, I wear lots of hats. My hats tend to be colorful and full of glitter. But first and foremost, an artist. And so when I'm not creating my own artwork and then creating artful goods out of that artwork, I'm working with clients, and my clients, who I lovingly refer to as my unicorns, because they're all very unique and need specific care per person. My unicorns that I love to work with, what I do for them is, or first I should give a little context. My clients are women. I enjoy working with women. They're heart-centered, so I like to work with therapists and other artists and just people that are doing really good work with either their hands or their hearts and minds. So those are the women that I love to work with. So these heart-centered entrepreneurs that I work with have a disconnect sometimes between their creative ventures and the technology that is required to share their gifts and services with the world. So I bridge that gap for them. What I do is I come in and I help them with their website, and I help them with their branding, and I help them with their social media and their planning and all of the infrastructure that it takes to genuinely have a successful business online. And with technology, I do find that a great deal of my clients sometimes have the need for structure. So although I'm very right-brained in my artistic nature, being a soulful techie myself, I'm very analytical when it comes to planning. So I do also help my clients structure and plan both their time and their business and their goals. And I sort of bring it all together for them so that all they have to do is create content, because that's genuinely all they want to do is create.
Right. Yeah. They don't want to have to deal with the stuff that's, overwhelming to them.
Yes.
So
like the marketing and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Where do you see people? I know you do a lot of like branding and marketing for people, but where do you see people? I'm sure you get a similar thing as, lots of coaches, and like, where do you see people get stuck, and where do you yourself find getting stuck in your creative process?
Gotcha. Well, since I'm not an official coach, of course, having clients, you coach, right? Like anyone who has a client is going to coach, but although I'm not an official coach. So what I find myself coaching clients through is these mindsets that bringing structure to their creativity is going to somehow stifle their creativity. So clients that come to me and they're like, I really want to get out a newsletter. I really want to get out a blog post. But just the thought of having to meet a deadline just totally kills my vibe, right? So I make that a little bit easier for them. And for me, play is a huge part of my personality and my business. And so I bring that playful energy to my clients. So I don't take shit serious, right? and I kind of like evoke that whimsical playfulness with my clients. So when I see that they're having blocks, I bring in a lot of play. So I think another example of like their blocks to time management and being able to release their creativity on a schedule. We do things like if they want to get newsletters out, I allow this really playful space to create when they're feeling called to do so, and then I manage it. So I pre-schedule it for them so that their content is going out and yet they were able to create the content when they wanted it. So since I am also in the business of creativity myself, I too have blocks. And like them, I have the same blocks where it's like I want to be creative for myself, but my art is a business. So I have deadlines to the printers and I have deadlines to get out certain marketing if I want to meet a certain goal to sell my prints or whatever I'm managing at the time. And sometimes those, like my clients, can also stifle my creativity. So I do the same things for myself that I do for them, where I bring in a great deal of play into all of the things that have to be done. And when I'm truly feeling drained, I sort of fall back to my rituals. I have a great deal of rituals, everything from lighting candles to right now, since I'm like a hyper diaper. So when I do interviews like this, I know that I bounce around a lot. So I actually have a stone. I have my beautiful amethyst stone, and just the textile experience of it sort of calms me so that I'm not all over the camera and giving you lovely, amazing folks on this journey with us a headache. So I've got this stone in my hand, and that's one of the rituals that I use. So between rituals and play, that's how I work through my creative blocks and my clients.
I love that. I love the stone. I might do that.
Yep.
That's great. It's just like that tactile reminder, like, okay, it symbolizes whatever you decide it's going to symbolize. I love that.
To me, it's totally settle down, Lezette. Settle down. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And it's pretty. So it's
right.
Like,
that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So what kind of things do you do to restore? I know you said you have your rituals, but what do you do to really kind of like restore and prevent yourself from really burning out?
Prevent myself from burning out. That's truly a tough one, because I'm certainly not perfect. I find myself sometimes being spread too thin, right? Like most entrepreneurs that are running their own business. And so I'm very lighthearted again in the knowing deep down inside that I'm not going to prevent that feeling. I just kind of need to like ease and ride the flow when it happens. So I don't really, other than my playfulness and the rituals, I don't consciously try to force not being burnt out. I just pay attention. I just sort of like feel how it's all happening. I did a collaborative project a while back with Sheila Pye. She's this amazing coach that works with women, and she does relationship coach. She's just amazing human being, period. And she's very much into self-care and mindfulness. And I collaborated with her when I was feeling that burnout, like you were mentioning. I worked with her to create a card deck. And the card deck although we sell it, wasn't meant for anyone but myself. So this card deck, I have a card right here. This card deck that I keep on my desk. So when I'm feeling like I'm being a bad boss, because I'm my own boss, and sometimes I could be the worst boss ever and not give myself like water breaks. So when I find myself being a bad boss, I have my cards on my desk and I pull a couple, and on one side of the card, there's a mindful prompt. So I'll take time to just sit with myself and read the prompt. So this too is another ritual, but it is like a really little subtle way that starts to add up that keeps me from truly burning out. Thankfully, I have not burnt out since I took back those corporate clients. So I haven't had burnout in some years. So I'm very grateful for that. But I work really hard not to burn out.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be really intentional about it. And I'm actually interviewing Sheila, so I'm really excited. I haven't interviewed her yet. So I'm excited.
You're going to truly enjoy that because her energy is much more calm. When you get off the phone with me, you're going to be like that, right? Or off of our video chat. And when you get off with Sheila, you're going to be like, so she brings a completely different energy. You'll truly enjoy her.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's fun. I like having all this different energy, and that I really like what you said, what you're saying about play and to just have fun. And a few other people I've talked to, and you're like, just don't take life so seriously. Like, have fun. Like, do things that are fun, and like, don't, go through life thinking that everything has to be work. And so even work itself. And so, yeah, I think the element of play and having fun and bringing that childlike imagination back into our adult lives is so crucial. So yeah, I love that you say that. Yeah.
Agreed.
So what would you say to someone? There's probably a lot of people watching that are, wanted to start something new or wanted to restart and not sure where to start, overwhelmed. What would you say to someone based on your own experiences and others that you've seen throughout the years? Like, what advice would you give them?
First, to breathe. And I know that seems, like, what does that mean? Like, I truly mean like genuinely breathe into those feelings instead of ignoring them or being angry that you're scared, but just to truly sit with yourself, if only for a moment, and really lean in to those feelings of fear and breathe through them. And eventually you're either going to pass out from breathing or you're going to come out from the other side. And when you're in a more calm mental state, take a piece of paper and write down like the worst case scenario. So whatever you're about to do, just write down like what is going to happen. And if at the end of that list, it's not the zombie apocalypse or like sudden death, then I say go for it. Do you know what I mean? So, there are risks to being creative and living a creative life. And for myself, I'm taking the risk right now to work towards truly being, geographically free and being able to work anywhere in the world. And there are risks involved with it, and that's okay because life's an adventure. So, and it's and you're not going to die. So, like I said, if at the end of that list you're not dead, go for it. Truly. Yeah. You just have to be okay with your worst case scenario list, and if you are, then play with it and be easy with yourself.
Yeah, I definitely do that. The worst case scenario. And if I'm like overwhelming myself with worry for something so small, I'll just go, okay, what's the worst that could possibly happen?
Right.
And then you're like, oh, okay, that's not so bad.
Right.
That's when you realize like, oh, well, that would be bad, but I'm not going to die. And, there's not going to be a zombie apocalypse.
Right. Right.
I'm not going to go to prison or,
Yeah, prison's a good one. Yeah, maybe a deletion in the prison. Yeah.
So I definitely do that. I'll do that a lot because I catch myself like thinking all these horror, oh my gosh, like I can't do this anymore. And then I'm like, okay, worst case scenario, here we go. Like that really helps me. So I'm glad that you said that. Yeah, because I definitely do that because I just, get to that place of overwhelm. Before we close out, two things. If there's something that is on your heart that you'd like to say, and it can be anything, and then you can go on ahead into your free offer for everyone to share.
Sure. What is on my heart? Oh my goodness. It actually came up as you were talking and sharing that you do the same thing with the list. And I thought to myself, I'm looking at you and I'm making the assumption that you're younger than me. That's my assumption. And yet we're in like the same realm of age, right? So my thought was, if someone else is watching this that is maybe younger than us or older than us, truly and genuinely, my list of the worst case scenario has changed as my life has changed, right? As I've gone through like these different seasons. And right now I'm very much in the season of life that is motherhood, right? So my worst case scenario has changed. My wants out of life has changed. So if anyone is watching this, I think what's on my heart is to say that it's okay if our journeys are different, and what is right for you may not be right for someone else. And it might not even be right for your partner or the people in your life. And that's okay too. You can genuinely have your wants and desires and come to compromises and build the life that you want to live, no matter where you are in your journey of life. So I think that came to me as we were talking, and I was making those silly assumptions of age. So for anyone out there, older or younger, genuinely, wherever you are in life, it is not too late to start or too early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I have a lot of conversations with just people, and they're saying I wish I could have done this. And I wish I could have done that. And I'm looking at them like, you can't be older than 40. Like, like, well, what do you mean you wish? You like, your whole life is ahead of you. And, I'll say to them, like, it's never too late. And they'll be like, yes, it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not too late. You're not even that old. So yeah. And you're never too young too. And I think that's another thing. It's like, oh, I'm too young to do this, or people will think I'm young and naive, and I think that's not true either. There's really great, 12-year-old entrepreneurs out there that are rocking. So that, if anything, that should be inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you.
Oh yes, the free gift.
Yes.
I do have a free gift that I offer on my website of simplyartworld.com. And you can find it on any of the pages, but as soon as you go to simplyartworld.com, it'll be there lovingly for you. It is a guided meditation that is called Starlit. So I hope you enjoy it. It truly comes from my heart. And if there are any insights or any feelings that come up as you listen to the guided meditation, you are always more than welcome to email me, because I am a real person. That website does lead to a heart and soul. And so I will get back to you if you have any insights or want to talk. There's also another amazing person that is being interviewed in this series, and I'm so excited to call a friend, and her name is Susan Miller. And when you get to listen to her interview, she's going to mention our Wise Woman 7-Day Creative Journey, which is also a free gift that we happen to be collaborating on. So you have lots of options out there for you that will help you on your creative journey and really get you on the path, or if you're on the path, just sort of refresh that passion.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you, Lezette, for taking time out of your day to be interviewed. I've really loved our time together, so I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, rock on. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you all who have taken the time to watch my interview. I appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome.